Hey everyone, Mike and Kili with Long Range with the Lilies. We've been back from Montana for a couple weeks. It's been a pretty hectic couple of weeks with work and then shooting matches. So we haven't really had time to kind of debrief Montana. We would love to show you all the amazing footage of Montana because it's one of the most beautiful places we've been to shoot a match. But we kind of forgot to get footage and we'll get into that. So yeah, let's just get into it. What did you think of Montana?
I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. When we first rolled up on the Teddy Roosevelt Memorial Ranch, we were both stunned at the beauty that surrounded it. If you ever get a chance to go out there, it's completely worth it just for the views. You could sit there and just look around all day. So I thought it was a wonderful venue. We've been really lucky in the last couple of months to shoot at some beautiful venues, and this one, I don't know, it's right up there as one of the most gorgeous.
It's one of the reasons we enjoy shooting precision rifle matches as much as we do, is they're generally held outdoors in these, large ranches, super scenic locations, and it gives us a chance to travel, the country and see these places. Right. This one is definitely right up there at the top as far as most beautiful places I've been. You're looking into the Bob Marshall Wilderness. It's just beautiful mountains. It's incredible. Yes. So getting into the match, we showed up a day early, got to do sight-in day. Fairly, carefree day. We just showed up, everything was working good. Got to use your new barrel tuner. Yeah. Showed up, your groups weren't quite what we wanted them to be. Adjusted the barrel tuner and it worked out, so that worked out really well.
Yeah, I was really thankful for that. I'm so used to not having it that when my groups were spread out a little bit after the day before they were tight, I had a kind of a freak out moment, and then I was like, oh wait, we have the tuner. So thank God.
So we got it all sighted in, got to hang out with the guys, have some dinner, have some drinks, kind of relax and set up for day one. So we woke up to day one to what sounded like a freight train passing out our door, and it turned out there was a weather system rolling through. We kind of knew it was coming. I still wasn't ready for it. It was like 40 miles an hour of wind. It was intense. It was. The whole drive out there, it's just, blowing the dirt off the road. It was intense. So we rolled up. Chaz made an on the spot call to switch up the course of fire, and we switched from the day one course of fire. We shot the day two course of fire first. The day one is kind of up on a hill and up on a ridge, and it's a little more exposed to the wind, and he was actually worried a little bit about safety. Yeah. So we switched. I thought it was a great call. We switched up, shot day two. He took us all down on these hay bale rides. We were fortunate enough to catch a ride with Travis in his truck. I'm sure we caught a lot of evil looks for that, but what can I say? Anyway, so we get a ride down and we start on stage one, and we were down in the trees. This is actually stage 17. Right. And the first stage was you got to shoot from this little crook of a tree, and the targets were about 2 MOA, but in 40 miles an hour wind, they became super tough. They were. So I remember watching a couple shooters in front of me shoot, and they got zeros, and I was like, okay, it's going to be a tough day. And then I watched Morgan King go out there and shoot a 1 or a 2, I can't remember. Shot a 1. Yeah, and then thinking, oh my God, it's going to be a really tough day. Yeah. So I got down, and as soon as I put my rifle down on the tree, I realized why Morgan got a 2. It was, as soon as I set it down, the whole tree, and I mean, it's a giant tree. It doesn't look like it would move, but the whole tree was moving, which obviously made it tough. It was, swaying in the wind, just nice and rhythmic for us. So, that immediately set the tone for me that it was going to be a rough day. So what were your thoughts on the day one? On day one. So day one, I had fun on day one. Even though the winds were so high, Jake Vibert was in our squad, and he shot the high score for everybody for the whole day. And when we asked him what he scored, he had a 48. Yeah, so I've never heard of day one scores being that low. No. A 48 leading the pack. I had a pretty fortunate good day. I felt like I was shooting really well, actually, despite as many misses as I was having. And I ended up shooting a 37, which is good enough for third place, which is unheard of. But, you know, all you can do in conditions like that is just keep grinding it out. And it actually, you know, every shot at that point becomes important. I mean, no matter what match you're in, every shot matters. But at that match especially, every single point mattered. And if you lost your focus for just a second, it would tumble you way down the standings.
It really would. So I ended day 1, I think, with a 23. So when I was looking at my score, it really hits you hard when you look and you're like, a 23? Are you serious right now? And then after talking to everybody else, we realized that everybody else had just as rough of a day as we did. So still had fun, smiles and jokes and laughing all around.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the shared misery factor. Yes. Like, we're all getting our butts kicked, and at a certain point it became so kind of ludicrous that we all couldn't help it, just kind of laugh at it when you break the shot and it hits, you know, way over from where you thought it was. It's all you can do, really. It's just kind of laugh, make an adjustment, and try and hit your second shot.
I think at one point I had service on the hill with the Bears, and I had gotten a text message from Brian Black with Lone Peak Arms, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And I texted back. I had just finished that stage, and I ended up holding like 5.5 or 6 mils, not 6/10, 6 mils of wind to hit that far bear. So yeah,
tough day. That's all you can say about it. So we finished up day 1, loaded back up, went up to the lodge, ate some food. This was really good food. And then ended up just kind of hanging out, playing some cornhole. My partner Nick Kitlica and I had a pretty good run. I think we were undefeated for like 13 or 14 matches.
Yeah, whatever.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, hate all you want. We weren't.
Yes.
Anyway, so went back to the hotel, and I think everybody was talking about hanging out initially, and then I think we were all in bed at like 8 or 9 o'clock. It was like everybody was just exhausted from the conditions. Woke up the next morning, thankfully a lot less wind.
Yes.
Winds on day 2 were hovering between 15 and 20 miles an hour, if I remember correctly. So what were your thoughts on day 2?
Day 2 was a lot better, just with the conditions. You know, we had dressed warm because the day before it was pretty chilly out, and immediately we realized that it wasn't as windy, so we weren't as cold. It was a lot more comfortable. But despite that, the beginning of day 2 for me was still actually pretty rough. The winds weren't terrible, but for me, when I started, I had the sun was coming right over my scope into my eye. So I was really exhausted, and I started my day with a big fat 0 on that stage. Used the mulligan and I picked up a few more points, which was great. And I really kind of struggled throughout the whole day. I think I was just pretty beat from the winds the day before. What about you?
For me, I guess I would sum it up as saying I had kind of a mediocre day. As many targets as I missed on day 1, I still felt pretty good going into day 2. I felt like I was shooting well. Started out the day in 3rd place and just felt like I was letting a shot slip every now and then. Every other stage, I just felt like there was one that got away from me, or I probably should have had that one. Got some, you know, poor wind breaks, but, you know, a lot of the mistakes were mine as well. And I just kind of felt like I had like a mediocre day. It wasn't a great day. And in the end, that ended up slipping me from 3rd all the way down to 9th.
Yeah.
Still a top 10 finish in a national match. Still a good score in the NRL. Still pleased with it. Just for me personally, I'm a pretty competitive driven person. I felt like it wasn't the finish I wanted. One of the things I thought was really cool on day 2 was Chaz took the top 7 or 8 people and put them in squad 1. The next 7 people in the standings and put them in squad 2. The next 7 put them in squad 3, etc., all the way down the list. Yep. So all the guys who were at the top of the stack trying to compete for that win all got to start in the same place and shoot the match under mostly the same conditions. I've been to a lot of matches where, you know, if you started out the day on a certain stage, or, you know, you had these stages in the middle of the day or whatever, it seemed like there's always some complaining that it's unfair that these people shot in these conditions and these people shot in those conditions, which is pretty hard to mitigate against because it's an outdoor sport. Right. You know, you can't control the weather, or else we probably wouldn't have shot in 40 miles an hour wind.
Turn that down a little bit.
Yeah. But all the guys shot together in that squad, and they all shot under relatively the same conditions, or as close to as possible. And I thought it was a cool concept. I know that there were some people who didn't like it. What were your thoughts as somebody not in the super squad at the top?
Yeah, so I was mid-pack, and I didn't mind. I think that as far as the top people go, shooting in the same conditions is really important if you are trying to get a placement. Talking to another shooter who's a friend of mine, Andy Cloninger, we were talking about different stages and how it went for us and what the wind was like, and I think we were 5 or 6 squads different. So she talked about how it went for her and was drastically different for me. So I think that there are advantages for the top shooters. I like it because I get to meet new people. So
yeah, I thought it was really cool. I did get to meet some new people, some guys I hadn't shot with before. Got an opportunity to finally shoot with Morgan King. And to see, why he's been so successful this year. That little guy doesn't know how to leave a match without a trophy in his hand. So, so I finished in 9th. You ended up in 24th.
24th. So that was my first top 25 finish at an NRL match. So even despite all the rough wind, feeling tired, and I felt like I was dragging, I did still manage to place top in the top 25 out of I think close to 80 shooters. So for me, it was a win. I had a blast. Even with the wind and the conditions, I just had so much fun.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed the match. It was a learning experience, obviously. I don't get to shoot in wind like that very often. I thought it was just an incredible match. One of the best venues I've ever shot in. If you haven't shot that match, I definitely encourage you to put it on your calendar. I know the NRL will probably be back there next year. Get out there to the Teddy Roosevelt Memorial Ranch. Check that place out. I promise you will not be disappointed. We would tell you where we stayed, but it's an incredible little gem, so we're just going to hold on to that little nugget and save it for ourselves. But anyway, guys, with that being said, here's a little bit of the footage that we got. Some of it was shot with kind of a phone, so the footage isn't as great, but here's some of what we got. We wanted to get some more, but we kind of got wrapped up in things. So anyway, here you go.
Go!
Can I get 3 there? 3? Oh, okay, I saw the 2. Sorry. I'm just making sure I had 3.
2 minutes.
I was like, I worked hard for that.
Yeah, I know. 10 points?
I heard it too.
The first one was a hit.
Yeah, Mike!
Are you kidding me?
Impact. No, it's not. Impact vital. Impact vital. That's it. That's it.
Straight up.
Hey, really? Hold on. Holy cow. We were doing like the same crap.
I had to hold left side of the vitals with 0.4 dialed on, 0.5 dialed on.
Oh, okay, so you
Yeah.
half a mil.
Yeah. Well,
Or no, you had to hold left.
I had to hold left. It was straight up.
What
Who's
the
up? Who's up?
frick?
I got 5.
All right, guys, as you can see, a lot of wind noise, a lot of missed targets. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Wanted to thank you guys for watching. If you guys like our videos, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And we look forward to talking about Rock Lake in our next video. All right, guys, thanks for watching.